At 6 in the morning, the HOA stole my boat and laughed while my daughter cried on the dock. Slip 47 sat there empty, just a rectangle of cold black water where our old 1982 Grady White used to rock against the sunrise. And while Emma was still wiping her eyes, Karen Blackstone, our HOA compliance officer, left me a voicemail saying my eyesore had finally been removed. She had no idea that towing my boat was the one move that would push me into building a trap big enough to blow up her entire criminal empire. Before all of this, life was simple, or as simple as it gets when you're a single dad raising a kid with type 1 diabetes. Our apartment overlooked Bayshore Marina, close enough that I could smell the salt air without having to pay waterfront prices. Emma and I didn't have much, but we had our weekend routine. She'd make coffee in our chipped thermos, I'd prep the tackle, and we'd head out into the bay on the boat my father helped me restore before he passed. I'm a marine electrician by trade, 25 years of wiring power systems, navigation lights, and bilge pumps. That Grady White wasn't just a boat. It was the last piece of my family that felt steady. And then came Karen Blackstone. Picture a 50-something woman with bleached blonde hair, a white Mercedes, and the kind of perfume you can smell from 3 slips away. Karen dresses like she's auditioning for Real Housewives of the Yacht Club's silk designer sunglasses and a clipboard she wields like a weapon. As the HOA compliance enforcer, she targeted working folks like me while pretending to protect property values. 3 weeks before the boat theft, she strutted down my dock with a photographer heels tapping like a warning siren. She pointed at my slip. This vessel she declared is aesthetically incompatible with the marina's luxury standards. I stared at her like she'd just diagnosed my boat with a moral failing. "Karen, it's been here 3 years. It's grandfathered in." "Not anymore," she said, handing me a 72-hour removal notice. New rule. Vessels older than 35 years require special permits. Storage fees start at $500 a day. I didn't know yet that the rule was illegal. Karen didn't follow state notification requirements, meaning the whole thing was void. But at the time, all I knew was that a lawyer wanted a $5,000 retainer I didn't have. So I tried to write it out. And that's how day 73 found me walking down the dock, lunchbox in hand, ready for coffee on the water, only to see my slip empty. The security guard shrugged apologetically. The impound lot wanted $3,200 plus daily fees. And the final insult, a business card tucked under my windshield wiper, Prestige Marine buys boats as is. That night, Emma and I ate cold gas station pizza because that's what we could afford. She tried to fill out scholarship applications, and I tried not to shake with rage. When she said, "Dad, your anchor bracelet is tapping really fast," I realized my hand was beating the metal chain against the table just like my father used to when he was thinking through wiring problems. It hit me then Karen wasn't picking on a random guy. She'd targeted the one person in this marina who knew exactly how every electrical panel breaker and pedestal was wired. But Karen wasn't done. Within a week, anonymous complaints started hitting the city inspector's office accusing me of unsafe electrical work. I lost 3 contracts worth $8,000 money Emma needed for college and medicine. Meanwhile, Karen was circulating yacht club gossip that I was some kind of dangerous felon. Emma came home from school with her blood sugar spiking because kids told her their parents thought I was a drug dealer. I tried to keep it together, but something cracked when she looked at me and whispered, "Dad, why do people say these things about you?" I didn't have an answer. My union brothers offered to handle Karen, but I said no. Instead, I started documenting everything. Illegal dock mods on Karen's own boat, her inventory boats hidden in HOA slips midnight meetings. Pete, the security guard, let me install a hidden camera, and that camera caught gold. Karen and the marina manager Derek exchanging cash at slip 23 around midnight. No audio, but body language told the whole story. I spent that night reviewing footage while Emma slept on the couch, her homework scattered around her and the sound of waves tapping gently against the docks outside. As I dug deeper, the truth turned my stomach. Karen had stolen at least 8 boats using the same fake violation scheme. Every victim was either elderly or working-class people who couldn't afford legal fights. She'd turn the boats into impounded inventory, sell them under her dealership, or file insurance claims for theft losses. And my boat, she'd sold it twice. I remember sitting there at 2 in the morning thinking, she picked the wrong damn electrician. That's when I started planning Operation Purple Rain. Using electrical access only marine electricians have, I designed a device 12 actually. Hidden dye packs placed inside the bilge pump compartments of every stolen boat Karen planned to display at her upcoming estate sale. One electrical signal from me and those devices would erupt in a 40-foot geyser of permanent purple marine dye. A public humiliating crime scene. You can't argue against evidence when it's dripping down your designer dress. But before the plan could take shape, Karen went after the one thing I care about more than anything, my daughter. She filed a bogus report claiming my electrical work caused a fire hazard near the children's swim area. Then she got Emma banned from the Marina volunteer program she loved. But the worst was when she marched into Emma's high school, interrupted her chemistry class, and told the teacher that I owed money that would destroy Emma's college future. Emma called me crying from the nurse's office while I was 40 feet up on a mast installing nav lights. My hands shook so badly I had to come down. That night her blood sugar spiked so high she landed in the ER. I sat there staring at monitors beeping in the dim light, and I realized Karen wasn't going to stop. This wasn't HOA harassment anymore. This was a predator who wanted to break us. The medical bill added another $2,800. Karen posted Facebook sympathy messages claiming she was protecting the children from dangerous influences. The rage in me turned cold, sharp, surgical. That's when my allies stepped in. Luis helped me access old marina blueprints and install monitoring equipment. Maria, a paralegal whose daughter was friends with Emma, dug into Karen's financials. Pete provided surveillance access. And insurance investigator Carlos reached out after noticing patterns across 3 counties, all pointing to Karen. The deeper we dug, the bigger the monster became. Karen wasn't just stealing boats nearby. She had operations in 3 marinas across 2 counties. She forged Coast Guard paperwork, faked estate transfers, and sold stolen boats across state lines. That meant FBI jurisdiction. But then things turned dark. Derek, Karen's right hand, approached me with a briefcase of cash. $50 grand to walk away, he said. When I refused 3 hours later, our apartment building's electrical room caught fire. Firefighters said accelerant was used. Emma and I stood in the parking lot in our pajamas, watching our home burn, smelling electrical insulation melting into the night air. We lost tools, paperwork, her medical supplies, everything. At the hotel the Red Cross put us in, Emma broke down. Dad, she tried to kill us. It took everything in me not to break right there, too. I felt useless, powerless, wondering if fighting back had been a mistake. Maybe I should have taken the deal. Maybe protecting Emma meant backing down. Then she looked at me, eyes still wet, and said, "You always fix broken systems. Maybe this is just another broken system." That was the moment I stood back up. Karen had no idea that even after the fire, Emma had backed up every file to cloud storage. Luis converted his garage into our command center. FBI agent Sarah Kim joined the operation. And the final piece fell into place when Karen moved her yacht club estate sale up by a week. She was planning to run selling stolen inventory before fleeing to a non-extradition country. We had one shot. On a Saturday evening, 200 wealthy buyers gathered under string lights for Karen's big show. 12 boats lined the marina, 12 stolen vessels, each loaded with my dye packs. Emma was inside the crowd filming. FBI agents blended in with guests. I sat in Luis's van 2 miles away with the remote trigger in my hand watching the live stream. At 6:30 p.m., Karen stepped up to the mic in a flawless white designer dress. These magnificent estate vessels represent the finest. I pressed the button. 12 explosions erupted across the marina, loud enough that guests ducked like fireworks had gone off. Geysers of purple dye blasted 40 feet into the air, drenching the boats, the dock, the displays, and Karen. Her white dress turned instantly violet, dripping like a melted grape popsicle. People screamed. Some laughed. Cameras flashed. The news crew went wild. Karen spun in circles, shrieking, "What is happening?" FBI badges came out. Agent Sarah's voice cut through the chaos. Karen Blackstone, you are under arrest for interstate transportation of stolen vessels, insurance fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy. Derek tried to slip away but was tackled at the dock entrance. Emma ran toward me, phone still streaming, breathless and shaking but smiling. Dad, she's purple. She's completely purple. The look on Karen's face when she saw me standing there, remote trigger in hand, was something I'll remember for the rest of my life. She screamed, "This was an estate sale. I have documentation." Agent Sarah held up a stack of evidence bags, forged, every last page. As purple-stained boats rocked gently behind her, the empire Karen built on fear collapsed into a puddle of dye around her expensive shoes. She was shoved into the back of a federal vehicle, still dripping violet streaks across the leather seats. And that's where my story ends. Not with celebration, not with victory laps, but with Karen's arrest echoing across the docks while purple droplets slid down her ruined dress. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it isn't gentle. Sometimes justice is a burst of bright purple that makes the truth impossible to hide.